The Night House. Typical ghost story. Pfft, that's what I thought too. So The Night House is a new psychological horror film directed by David Bruckner and starring Rebecca Hall as a character who recently and tragically lost her husband, and soon afterwards she starts to feel his presence and see his presence around the house. Not too long after that, she starts digging around and she starts to discover that her husband might have been into some really, and I mean really dark stuff. Alrighty guys, so let's get into The Night House.
Excellent!
The Night House is a movie that I walked into knowing almost nothing about it. The only things that I saw from The Night House were a poster and a little bit of a promotional still. Otherwise, I walked into this movie almost completely blind. The way that it was marketed towards me, however, was that it was marketed as a haunted house movie, and even more so that there was a guy that was there promoting his haunted house attraction, so I thought, okay, this is gonna be a good old-fashioned haunted house movie. Cannot wait. This is one of the few times where I saw a movie where I went in expecting one thing, and I got something else different. And I am so glad that I did. Coming out of the gate, The Night House is not, and let me repeat myself and listen very clearly, The Night House is not a haunted house movie. The movie does have small mechanics of a haunted house movie, but this movie is not a haunted house movie. The Night House, more than anything else, is a character-driven psychological drama, and a very unsettling one at that. And man, this is a damn, and I mean a damn good one. Everybody in this movie is very, very good, but this movie is Rebecca Hall's show. Rebecca Hall has been in many films, and she has given many great performances. This might be my favorite performance of hers. Rebecca Hall gives such a layered performance on this movie. She plays a character in this movie, and she does such a great job of it, by the way, of playing this character that is going through grief, depression, and many other things. She is obviously going through a very bad time, but even more so, through her body language, through subtle things in her performance, you can tell that she is going through so much more than just the loss of her husband. Just the use of her body language, she is telling so much more than she is letting on. There is a specific scene in this movie to where she is talking to one of her best friends, and the monologue that she gives, honest to God, gave me chills. Another thing that I loved about The Night House was David Bruckner's direction. I expected just a fun, good old haunting movie. Now, it seems like it's gonna do that at first, within the first 15 minutes, because there are things within that opening act that go bump in the night at first. However, the more that I kept watching it, the more surprised I got. The more that this movie goes along, it goes into such a different direction than I was expecting, and I absolutely love that about this movie. David Bruckner's direction takes what could have been a simple yet typical ghost story into a very dark and unsettling psychological drama. There are certain sequences that David Bruckner sets up, and the way how he moves the camera specifically, I don't want to give too much away because there are certain sequences that really just made me go like, what was that? David Bruckner and his cinematographer, to which I cannot remember her name, I'll put her name right here, but David Bruckner and his cinematographer do certain things with the camera, and it's so damn cool. And how a shot is constructed, the way that the camera is moved, you notice something in the background, unless if you're paying close attention, you will not notice it until it's revealed at the very last second. The way that David Bruckner and the cinematographer pulled these sequences off literally got underneath my skin. This movie is one of the more compelling, character-driven psychological dramas with unsettling elements that I have seen in a long time. I feel like that this one thing is not going to be talked about, and that's the score in this movie. The music in this movie is very minimal, but man, when it happens, it comes out when you're least expecting it, and when you're not paying attention, it's just gonna come out and squeeze the life out of you. There is a scene in this movie that I was watching it, and my heart was racing so much. And by the end of this one scene, and by the way, this happened twice in this movie, I let out a huge breath of a relief. This is such a well shot movie. How it uses certain colors, but most importantly, the thing that I loved about the cinematography is how it uses light to build suspense. This is a movie that would like to scare you using certain themes, very dark themes. Although there are sequences that have so much tension. The way that David Bruckner, the cinematographer, and Rebecca Hall build up these sequences are absolutely amazing. There are a couple of jump scares in this movie. They're not false though. There are a couple of jump scares. Maybe 3 if I can remember correctly, but they're well-placed jump scares. One more thing that I want to talk about. The film's ending. Now, of course, no spoilers. Trust me, no spoilers. I feel like that a lot of people will be unsatisfied because it's the type of ending that's not completely happening. I'll say this much. Given the film's story and the themes, it was a refreshing ending, and it was an ending that I did not see coming.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Moving on to my issues, because I do have a few issues with this movie. It does take some time to get going, and there are a few scenes in this movie where the pacing does get a little bit wonky. Some scenes do take some time to get going to the place they're supposed to be going. This movie has quite a bit of ambiguity in it, and I like ambiguity, but there are quite a few questions that this movie does leave unanswered, and I really would have wished this film would have just explained just a little bit more than we got, just a little bit more.
And here we go.
So overall, I walked into the Night House expecting a good old-fashioned haunted house movie, but walking out, what I got instead was a character-driven psychological drama, and a very unsettling one at that. And it is a damn good one. This movie has not only great directing by David Bruckner, a very unsettling vibe that carries with you throughout the entire film, but it is all led by a captivating performance by Rebecca Hall. All in all, I'm gonna give The Night House a 4 out of 5 stars. This is a movie that I was completely taken off guard by. This movie is a damn good psychological drama that honestly I have not stopped thinking about ever since I got out of that theater. So comment down below and let me know, are you looking forward to The Night House? Have you heard of this film? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if you want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Night House. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click right there or there. And of course, until my next video or review, I'll see you all next time.